Hello everybody, welcome to this year's showcase of Fire Emblem Spectrum by YeahNice. Once again, it is I, YeahNice, doing commentary. This year, I'll be showcasing Chapter 13, a Chaotic Reprieve. Now this is another bug test sort of playthrough, just to see if there's any issues with the game. So I'm just playing on normal mode, that's the middle difficulty, casual mode, so I don't have to like reset so much just to get through it. And this year I'm doing something a little bit different with my commentary. The last two times it was a live commentary. I was playing through the game as I was talking. If you remember the showcase last year, I kept losing track of what I was saying and just generally sounding very confused. A commenter on that video suggested I do a post-commentary for the next time I try this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a post-commentary just to see how it works. This isn't my first time recording. I did a couple other recordings just to make sure it sounded okay, just to get through it. And yeah, so far it's worked out a lot better. I've been doing a decent job of knowing what I'm supposed to say at any given point. For example, right now I'm just going through the preps. I'm picking who I want to pick. I considered bringing some pre-promotes. I considered even bringing some master seals in. I think I only ever bring the one seal in, just to showcase one promotion that I barely use. That one promotion I barely use, there's a funny story about that. You'll see later in the video. I'll get to talk about that near the end. But yeah, right now I'm just picking out random staves, random items. Yeah, looks like it's time to start the map. And as you see, we got our bard finally. Chapter 13, halfway through the game. Let's see, we're gonna kill... Okay. So far, so good. While I'm here, may as well just get to talking about how progress is going on the hack, since, not much else to talk about. These first few turns are always the most boring. As you may remember, last year I did plan on putting out a patch last year. The patch was supposed to go up to around Chapter 12, but as you may know, that ended up never materializing. Reasons for that? Burnout, pretty much. I just got really tired of working on the hack, which sucks, but not much you can do about it. This year though, I've been, forcing myself a little more to try and get through the project. Try to, oh geez, that was a good level. Xavier may be a bit busted. You know how, yeah, sometimes it's, you just gotta fight through the burnout, You can't just sit there, do nothing. If you want shit to get done, you gotta do it. Another good level. Oh, A rank. That would be great for warps if I had any. Anyway, okay, just gonna move people over there. But yeah, this year progress has been going a lot quicker, and as you can see, I am well past Chapter 12. I'm exactly one chapter past Chapter 12 now. My hope for this year is, well, I'm gonna try to get a patch out again. But instead of ending at Chapter 12, I'm gonna try to end at Chapter 15. That's my cat. Oh yeah, that's 4 more chapters, because that's 3 numbered, plus a guide, and... or a paralogue, as I'm calling it in this hack. Just because that's the official term for them now. And with that, taken into account, that'll be hopefully 18 maps total for the 0.05. Because yeah, I'm skipping the 0.04. It's not happening. Okay, just moving Sarah over there. I talked about Xavier being a little busted. Sarah might be another unit. She joins on this map. She may be also a little busted. I wanted to do like a... If you've ever played Thracia, there's 2 Wyvern Riders who join on the same map. One is a pre-promote and the other is not. So it's very easy to say and tell who the better unit is. I wanted to do something like that for this map. Only issue is I probably overcompensated a little too scared to let Sarah be kinda shitty. Like, if you're gonna make a Fire Emblem hack, you have to accept that some units are just gonna be shitty, okay? Not necessarily shitty, but like better and worse. You can't have everyone just be like a mush of 6 out of 10s. Because that's boring, you know? You want... It's okay to have some units who are broken. It's okay to have some units who are a little shit. It's okay to have some units who are expressively mid. Variety helps people remember the cast better, and, you know, that's a good thing, remembering the cast better. If they remember the cast better, they'll probably remember the rest of the map better, the rest of the hack, you know what I mean? Okay, just checking the sniper's range. She's got a Master Seal that I'm going to be using, trying to see who I'm going to use to tank that. Do I use Xavier here? I believe I use Xavier here. He's a bit tankier than the other guys there. Thankfully there's a forest there, so Shannon doesn't get hit. That's the Pegasus Knight. And there's enemy face. Okay, so, now that I'm thinking about the Master Seal, I may as well talk about, that. Because there is a funny dev story about the Master Seals here. If you've ever played Cerulean Crescent, how that hack handles promotions is fairly unique. Basically, you only get the one item, and it's just infinite use, so you can use it on whoever. I was going to do something like that for the longest time. I was even planning on doing it before I even played Crescent and knew that's what it did. But, if you're wondering why I'm not doing that, the main issue was, well, it's difficult to balance around just not having promotions early and promoting everyone at once, because if everyone's promoting and they have fairly high promo gains, like, I don't think my promo gains are that crazy high, but they're not low either. Yeah, you'd have to do like a pretty steep difficulty jump at the chapter you get it just to make sure the difficulty's not a total cakewalk after, and I'm not sure I really want to deal with adjusting that for that. I think I'd just rather have a normal difficulty curve. Okay, just checking to see if that guy is safe. Yeah, he is safe. Kill that guy. Got a level. Okay, what did she get? Yeah, that seems about right. Steal the Master Seal. But yeah, I eventually decided, like, a couple months ago, I believe, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Let's just do normal promotions. If people want to promote at, like, level 12, so be it. So be it. I used to be... When I started making this hack, I was fairly anti-early promotion, just as a concept, because that's just not how I played the game. I very much used to be a level 20 or bust kind of player. And, yeah, let's just say I'm not that anymore. I've played enough hacks, I've experienced enough different ways to play the game, you know, to know that, you know, sometimes you just want the power boost. Sometimes you just want a pre-promote to wreck everything. Or a newly promoted guy to wreck everything. And that's okay, I'm gonna let people have that. So, Lucky the people. Okay, so I'm breaking this map, breaking this wall, breaking the wall open. The wall, that was giving me a lot of trouble during my earlier playtests. I did the tile changes wrong, so it ended up just displaying a completely different tile change. Thankfully, I fixed that before this recording. Okay, another level. More light brand damage. That's something. You may be noticing that I'm just going to ignore the shops up there pretty much. I don't even think I get the village. I can't remember though. Main reason is in the earliest recordings I did promote people. Notably Dwight there, the soldier, I made him a ranger. Just a cavalry type unit with bows and shit. He made the map a lot easier. This time I decided to see how the map would be without promoting anybody. Just to see if, you know, some guy didn't get any of the seals for some reason. Once again, I'll be promoting one person later, you'll see. And yeah, the map's not much harder, it's a little harder. Just because, yeah, promotion's that big a power boost. Yeah, speaking of promotion, here we're doing the Hell into the Thief just to show off Rogue. I originally promoted her this map because I wanted another healer, because rogues get staves, but guess who forgot to give her any staves? But yeah, she's just got healing, she gets pass. If you've played Queen Sword, that's a Japanese hack. Each unit gets one personal skill before and after promoting. I decided to borrow that system for this just because I thought it was a really fun way to balance units, make them more interesting. Because I'm not really doing class skills outside of Kanto and Thief and stuff. I mean, sure, there's skill scrolls and stuff, but it's just enough skills that it's interesting, but not so many skills that there's bloat. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now everyone's gonna be moving westward, gonna steal the dragon shield. Okay, like, is it just gonna... But yeah, with this playthrough, the upper right corner with these fighters and the wyvern is just a little too much for my party to deal with. So I'm just going to ignore them and the shops, just go this way. Ooh, one shot, nice. That's another thing with my design philosophy, as it's changed over the few years that I've been working on this. Christ, it's been 3 years since I've started working on this. Yeah, the main thing I've been thinking about lately is just letting people miss shit, being okay to miss shit. There isn't much anti-turtle on this map. That's not really an issue for me. More so the issue of difficulty of side objectives, the difficulty in getting those side objectives, and just accepting that some people just aren't going to have everything, and being willing to balance the game around that. Which probably sounds a little despair-inducing that I wasn't thinking about that much until recently, if you're anywhere at all interested in hacking, but I admit my design philosophy is a little bit of an echo chamber. Well, not really an echo chamber, but it's insular. It was a very me, myself, and I kind of design philosophy that didn't really change until I started getting feedback on the actual hack a few years ago. And yeah, that's about it for that. So what does that mean for the hack in general? Mostly just being more willing to make it harder. Being more willing to like crank up the numbers a little. As you can see, people are getting hit left and right. It's normal mode, so I don't want it to be too hard. But at the same time, like, it's harder than vanilla. People are on the verge of death constantly, so you know, I'm not typically a guy who goes for super hard experiences, but after playing enough Fire Emblem, you start to get really good at it, and you know what it means. You start to want for a little more. In my case, the a little more is just having stronger enemies, mainly. Just that. You know what I mean, right? Stronger enemies, harder to take care of. You need to be more careful with your positioning, that sort of thing. Not necessarily Kaizo shit. Not like... I'm not gonna name hacks. If you know Kaizo, you know what hacks I'm talking about. But yeah. That's just one example of how my design philosophy has changed. Mercurial shoes, that's another example. Just being more willing to do wacky shit with the items. Because when I first started doing this hack, I was like, I'd rather stick fairly close to vanilla. I don't want to do wacky items. I don't want to do, like, the kinds of stuff you see in build file hacks. I like build file hacks. They're very creative and fun. That's just not what I really wanted to do. But as I started expanding and thinking about, okay, my maps are very simple. I'm not doing really crazy designs, not really doing crazy objectives. How do I make the hack still interesting? And thus far, my solution has pretty much been do more wacky items. Last year, you may remember the item that was a +2 strength, -2 skill stat item. The Mercurial shoes I just grabbed earlier. Those are a +2 move, -5 defense and resistance. They are... Because, like, you gotta have a downside for free boots. It's a little stronger than just -2 skill, -2 in a stat. Thought -5 was a fair trade-off. A funny story for how those came about. It was in a Discord chat. Someone was talking about Morrowind. Someone mentioned the boots of blinding speed. If you've ever played Morrowind, well, if you've never played Morrowind, that's an item in there. They basically make you really fast, but they also make the screen dark. It's a pun. Blinding speed. Someone suggested someone add that to their hack. I didn't want to just steal that, so I decided to do something different. Yeah, that's sort of the fun thing about game design. Sometimes your inspiration is just the dumbest shit imaginable. Sometimes it's something profound. Sometimes it's just really, really stupid. Oh, you see that? See that? She did not attack on enemy phase. That is something I didn't notice at the time when recording, but by the end you'll see what the issue is. That'll be a fun thing to talk about. Yeah, like I said, this is a bit of a playtest. I wanted to see if there were any glitches or issues. I already talked about the wall there. Earlier in the playtest, I was having issues with village tile changes. Tile changes in general are kind of a pain. And like, flags attached to them are kind of a pain to deal with. It's a lot of tedious work, but you have to do it, because if you don't, you just miss shit and shit looks bad. Pew! Down he goes. Yeah, the hunting bows there's probably my favorite weapon I've added. It as you can see, it trades off flyer damage for cav damage. It's very fun. I think it makes archers pretty interesting to use, just giving them more variety in what they can do. That item up there, blinding, that's another fairly interesting item. It's just a seal skill. Seal in general is pretty difficult to balance, because if you've ever used the seal skill in FE Builder, in an FE Builder based hack, you may know that the patch adjusts every single seal at once. It defaults to 6, so if you change it, it changes for all of them. And as you may know, not all stats are created equal. I almost said not all weapons are created equal. That's also true, but not all stats are created equal. Like, -6 skill is not as detrimental as -6 speed or -6 strength, for example. Right now, I've kept it at the default. I've considered making it a stronger debuff, but I do worry a little that makes Xavier's skill a little too strong. I could always change his skill to something else, but that's something I need to think about for later. Okay, she's gonna tank that hit, gonna get a level. What you get? Magic, more light brand damage. Sea swords! Now she can actually use the light brand, that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna take that. Okay, thank God. As you can see earlier, he's got the death scythe. That's so yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. Probably the single-handedly scariest item on this map. Right now I'm just seeing who do I want to feed the hero kill to. He's got another Master Seal that I'm considering using that obviously I don't end up using, but okay, so now Patricia has it. I was considering using it on her, like I said, but obviously that doesn't end up happening. We only got a few minutes left. May as well just end the map as soon as possible. Okay. Thank God. Didn't have to deal with the Death Scythe. That's another of the fairly fun items I came up with. It's basically just an axe loadout that's a lot heavier. Axes, in general, were a lot harder to come up with ideas for, because like their whole thing is that they're strong but not very accurate, or slow or heavy, stuff like that. So I'm like, how do I stick to that general philosophy while still, you know, making an interesting weapon? Eventually I just decided on like a heavy loadout. 15 weight, because, you know, it's a big pole arm. Yeah, that worked. You don't have any in the, you don't have any for the player army yet, but you will get some eventually. Okay. I think I'm about to have Helena tank some enemy hits, and it's around then when I realize what the issue is. Not quite realize. I notice there's an issue, and I eventually know to fix it. Speaking of things that are broken, her staff. Don't worry, she has more. So does Laura, thankfully. Move everyone this way. Okay, so... yeah, that's about that. Let's see, what else can I talk about by the end? I'll talk a little bit more about my design philosophy. You may remember last year I talked a little bit about it was either last year or the year before, I talked about this being a sort of Vanilla Plus style mod. Vanilla Plus in the style that it's fairly close to vanilla sensibilities, but, you know, a little enhanced, like skills and stuff. A few months ago, I eventually decided that I'm going to walk back on that slightly. I do still generally want to keep this to a fairly sane level, if you know what I mean. Not like... I don't want this to be like Fire Emblem Fates nonsense, or like Radiant Dawn, where it's like big, gimmicky, multiple parts. I want this to feel like a GBA game. But the thing is, with vanilla, after playing it a little more, it's pretty limiting. It's basically taking the mechanics of the original NES game and just like making them prettier, you know? And there's not a lot you can do with that without just like making some heavy adjustments. So I'm like, okay, I'll bite the bullet. I'll be more willing to do weird shit. I'll be more willing to do weird items, weird promotions. Speaking of promotions, I'm finally gonna see what the issue is with Helena. No items. Why does she have no items? She has items, but she also has no items. What's the problem? Funny story about that. We only have about a minute. Shouldn't take too long to explain this. The female rogue slot is where the Gorgon egg used to be. As you may know, the Gorgon eggs don't have items. They turn into Gorgons that do have items, but they themselves do not have items, and there's a bit of hard coding that prevents them from having, like, normal items. That's another bug right there. I didn't set his death quote properly. Yeah, that's sort of the important thing with doing these playtests. Just make sure you notice shit like that, because, like, I noticed it. I didn't know what was wrong at the time, but it's fixed now. Don't worry. Once this goes public, it will be fixed. That's just one of the issues you find when hacking. And yeah, that's really about it. Hoping to have the patch out by the end of the year. Don't know if it'll be out by FE3, but we'll see. Anyway, this has been YeahNice, Fire Emblem Spectrum. Hope you have a good one.